Hello, hello, teachers. Great to be back. Thank you for all the love that you've been showing me. I've been reading your comments. I loved seeing the likes, the numbers increase. This is all very new for me, and it's very, very exciting when you show your support in all this. Today's topic is something that has got a lot of teachers worried. It's not because they cannot sort of negotiate this with their kids. It's because creating this resource is turning out to be a problem. So let's address the case-based factual passage today. It's in the syllabus in the new paper designed for English for CBSE 9 to 12, right? Today's session is basically going to be on creating the passage text. So we are going to do the passage text first, and then maybe in the next session, we are going to talk about the kind of questions that we need to create for the passage text, right? So on that note, what does case-based mean really? I mean, I've seen a lot of my colleagues type this on Google in their browser, hoping to come up with ready-made pieces. Well, it's not going to be the case. And even if it is going to be the case, it's going to be something that might not meet your expectations, right? So what does it really mean? So basically, case-based stems from a project or a campaign or an organization or a company when it identifies a situation, any situation, right? Now, when the situation is identified, the company wants to collect data or employs others. There are other companies and organizations that do market research or any other kind of research through surveys, etc. Right? So the first is identifying a situation, second is collecting of the data, third is analyzing this data because they need answers to the situation that they have, right? And then they create a report. Now the report could have recommended solutions, it could have implementation of actions, identification of certain factors that contributed to the failure or success of this particular situations, right? So when we look at questions, we could give questions that are centered around giving reasons, comparing and contrasting, making suggestions, recommendations, of course, in MCQ format, and ideas that support the information resource, right? So this is really important for you to explain to your kids. So when we create the questions are supposed to make the child analyze whatever data or information from the report that you're putting across in the passage, right? So I'm sure you already know that, but I'm just sort of putting it out there for you, okay? So what does the CBSE curriculum document for 2021 say for English, right? It says you're going to have multiple choice questions based on one unseen case-based factual passage. Obviously, it's going to be factual because it is sort of putting across data that has been collected factually, right? And it's going to have a verbal or a visual input. So either it would just have a chart, just a table of data, or it could have a visual like a chart, etc., or simply a verbal like a newspaper report, sort of analyzing whatever is the situation and the survey has been on, etc. Right? So now that's the passage. This is the portion that we are going to address today. The questions that are going to be given in the paper on this, they are going to be worth 10 marks. And for classes 11 to 12, it's 10 out of 11 questions. And for class 9, 10, it's 10 out of 12 questions, right? So now that all this is clear, let's absolutely get down to creating. Let me just show you a very simple process. It's a kind of a hack really that I stumbled upon, and I think it's worth sharing with all of you. I've done it in a lot many trainings, and it's been received with a lot of oohs and ahs, right? So I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to take you to my Google browser. So now when you look at the browser, the first thing I'd like you to do for creating this passage is probably type statistics for, let's say, charity in India. Okay, so please remember, what did I do? This is the main word, statistics for. So, and I usually like going with India as an add-on, because whatever is churned out or whatever comes up or jumps up at us from the data is basically going to be something connected to what the children would be familiar with. Right. So now when I pressed enter, this is what I see, but this is not what I want. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to stay on the all. I'm going to go to images. Now, when I click images, look at this. Look at the beautiful things that I've come across, right? So this is all kinds of data that I would want. And, I mean, I could probably go with something like this. It has a data table. Now you might wonder that this is just half the job done. Right. So, because this is just the chart and where is the written material? So, I might just go here and click this, for example, and see what it throws up at me. So, does it throw up any kind of, so it shows the contribution from individual philanthropists, and it shows this particular thing. It says CSR details, but it doesn't really suit my fancy. So what do? I shut this down. I probably would say, what's the next topic that, okay. So I would say statistics for shopping trends in India. Okay. And if I am doing this, oh, wow. This again has shown me a lot of things. Is there something that I like? Probably not, or maybe yes. So let's go with a very simple chart that I see here. Um, there you go. So ability to shop 24/7, ability to compare prices, online sale or better prices. So the reasons consumers shop online instead of in stores. So I'm going to open it in another tab and see how it seems. Yes, beautiful. So I have some written material as well. I have another chart that is over here. This is the top reason consumers prefer to shop in store versus online. Beautiful. And this is the name of the organization that has done the research. So I could take it from here. Now, when I look at this and it says reasons consumers shop online instead of in stores. So I would take this data from here, but I would sort of search this consumers shopping online versus shopping in stores. And I would sort of type that in, go back here, shopping online versus shopping in stores. Okay, now when I'm typing this, I don't want images for this. I want to go to the web and I'm looking at this. Do we have articles on this? Yes. I have a whole lot of stuff that I can see here. So all you need to do is open one of these or two of these, mix and match, and then create the passage along with something like this, saying that a research was done by the KPMG to figure out the reasons why consumers shop online instead of in stores. And your passage is ready. It's ready. You don't have to worry. Okay. For example, let me try something simpler. Let me go back here and say statistics for tiger conservation in India. All right, let's look at this. And what am I to do? Straight away go to images, and beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the kind of pieces that you see. It's all data and it's a census report. Okay, so if you click this, you'll get the whole report. You can take whatever portion you want from it. Look at the other beautiful stuff. Look at this. The tiger population 2016 global total, etc., etc. It's tiger conservation in India. Have a look at this. There is no dearth of the kind of pieces that you will come across. And you simply, this is beautiful. The roar is back. Look at that. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. I'd love to see what this is. So I'm going to open the link in a new tab and see what is this piece. Beautiful. So it has some written material. It's a newspaper piece. It says Global Wild Tiger Status. Okay, so that's the source. Okay, and it says that this is the global tiger population figures were released on Monday at the third Asia Ministerial Conference. Okay, so you know that a proper research has been done and you could take this. The only thing that I would caution you against is that if you are taking this piece and you're supplementing it with the verbal input from this place, please be careful that the verbal input that you have over here does not explain the data, because then there is no point. The verbal input should not be explaining this data. All right. If it gives you something that supplements the data, that's really good. If you give them something in your passage that is explaining this data, what's the point of your questions? Because the children will have it all explained and they will not have to be, they won't be analyzing as such when they are answering your questions, right? So that's my way of saying it. Let's try one more. I think I could go with this topic here. Let's close these tabs over here and get back to this. So let's say statistics for the urban green, what did I write here? Urban green cover in India. Okay, let's have a look at that. What does that say? Wow, lovely. So now urban green cover. So we don't know the statistics. Look at this. So that's a line graph, beautiful piece. Okay. Your city has less than one tree per person. It's the Delhi News. I'm going to open it. Let's see, do we have beautiful? So we have some written material as well, the verbal input. Okay, look at this data. Very nice. It says Delhi government claims it has planted 176 lakh tree saplings. I wouldn't go to any government claims, etc. It gets a little political. So something general is perfectly fine, right? Now, I'm going to close this and I'm going to take you to a couple of other things that I had come across. Have a look at this. So industries in Sikkim, tourism, economy growth, and agriculture. So you have a fair amount of verbal input as well, and you have the data. Have a look at another one. It says YouTubers, activity stats and facts. Look at this. Okay. So this is something that you should not include in your passage. You could include other aspects, or you could search another website to get the verbal input, but do not use input that is explaining your data. Let's have a look at another one. Yeah. Foreign tourist arrivals in India. Look at this. How beautiful is this? How beautiful. Look at the data over here, right? And you could talk about tourism, foreign tourists in India. You could, use that verbal input from another site and supplement it with this particular thing. All right. Another thing that you can do when you are creating your passage is simply write infographics on, let's say, tourism in India. Okay. And you would come up with a whole lot of material that gives you a lot of data. Just remember that you have to supplement this data along with verbal input on the similar topic from other sources, right? Look at this, beautiful. Uh, nice data that you have here. You could use any, and if you scroll down further, you'll be seeing other things. Okay, lot of data. So don't make the data very dense. Okay, they don't have sort of time to look into the density of your data. It should just be a very balanced whole. For example, this looks lovely. There is simple data along with some verbal input that has been given there, right? Please remember that it is case based, so you can't simply take a random thing without a situation or a problem that has been addressed through that data. There has to be a reason why that research has happened. All right. So I guess on that note, we can come back to the PPT, and I can probably talk to you again about this. Like I said, a project, a campaign, an organization, or a company that has a particular situation, right? So when we are talking about tiger conservation, it is definitely a campaign or a project, right? So the collection of data, this is exactly what we are trying to show them through surveys, and the questions are going to ensure that the child analyzes this particular data. So and the supplementing of this particular piece is done via the report. So it's all very simple. You have nothing to worry about. There's another thing that I need to tell you, that when you are choosing charts, or graphs as we call them, please remember, statistical data is the table form. A chart means a graph, etc. And a newspaper report, etc., would be the verbal input supplementing that data. Sometimes you don't need a picture data. The verbal input itself could have the data included in the paragraphs, like a 20% of so and so. So the explanation is right there. There is no visual input. It could all just be simply verbal as well. All right. Please remember that when you are choosing graphs, at the end of the day, it's a black and white paper. So if you have bar graphs of 2, 3 different colors, you need to ensure that the grayscale version of that is something that the students can identify and differentiate between. Otherwise, please take it to paint, and please ensure that you put some dots or lines, etc., to make it simple for them, right? I think that's all from my end today. This is for the case-based factual passage. I've told you how to curate it. Statistics for blah, blah, blah in India, or maybe if you don't want India, because a lot of pieces that I've seen are all about dollars and dollars and dollars in the UK and the US. Why? We have enough here in our country to talk about and put that in the passages, right? So, on that note, great. We'll talk about the questions in the next session. Till then, please subscribe. Please press like if you have truly benefited from this. And if you click on the bell notification, you will get your updates whenever I upload a new video. On that note, stay safe, stay empowered. You are the top force in the country. You are making us all go on, right? So stay empowered and keep rocking.